The worst Batman movie ever? Batman and Robin on trial. Welcome to our cinematic courtroom, where today we put Joel Schumacher's 1997 film, Batman and Robin, on trial for its alleged crimes against the superhero genre and cinema as a whole. Can a film with A-list stars like George Clooney, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Uma Thurman truly be as terrible as its reputation suggests? Or has time offered new perspective on this much maligned entry in the Batman franchise? Join us as we examine the evidence, hear from witnesses, and ultimately render a verdict on whether this film deserves its place in the prison of bad cinema or warrants a surprising pardon. Welcome to Cinema Court. The premise: a court where films face justice for their cinematic crimes. The process: evidence presentation, witness testimony, and fair deliberation. The punishment: guilty films sentenced to the vault of forgotten cinema. Our cinema court operates on the principle that all films deserve a fair trial, even those with reputations as notorious as Batman and Robin. Today's proceedings will examine what went wrong, if anything redeeming exists, and whether this film deserves its widely panned status. As your presiding film judge, I'll ensure all evidence is thoroughly examined before delivering the final verdict on this controversial superhero spectacle. The charges against Batman and Robin. Excessive and cringeworthy puns. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze delivered over 23 ice-related puns, including the infamous "Ice to meet you" and "What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age?" Anatomically enhanced costumes. The addition of nipples, enlarged cod pieces, and buttock close-ups to the Batman and Robin suits represented a disturbing deviation from comic book accuracy. Physics-defying action sequences. Surfing down buildings on doors, impossible ice formations, and a hockey game with henchmen stretched credibility beyond reasonable limits. Prioritizing toy sales over storytelling, introducing unnecessary vehicles and gadgets solely to sell merchandise, including the infamous Bat credit card, never leave the cave without it. Exhibit A: the casting catastrophe. George Clooney as Batman replaced Val Kilmer, who had replaced Michael Keaton, creating a revolving door of Batman. Clooney himself has repeatedly apologized for his performance. His portrayal lacked the darkness and complexity essential to Batman, instead delivering a performance one critic described as Bruce Wayne at a cocktail party wearing a Batman costume. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Paid $25 million, while George Clooney received only $1 million, Schwarzenegger received top billing despite appearing in only 25 minutes of the film. His dialogue consisted almost entirely of ice puns, with none of the tragic backstory that makes Mr. Freeze a compelling villain in the comics and animated series. Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. Cast fresh off Clueless success, her character was inexplicably changed from Commissioner Gordon's daughter to Alfred's niece, eliminating key character connections. She was given minimal character development beyond being a convenient plot device and another costume to merchandise. Exhibit B: script and dialogue crimes. Ice puns overload. Allow me to break the ice. My name is Freeze. Learn it well, for it's the chilling sound of your doom. Poison Ivy's painful lines. Some lucky boy's about to hit the honeypot. I'm finally going to repay Batman for planting me in Arkham Asylum. Bat credit card. Never leave the cave without it. A moment so egregious it's become synonymous with the film's excesses. Robin's rebellion. I want a car. Chicks dig the car. This is why Superman works alone. Written by Akiva Goldsman, who later won an Oscar for A Beautiful Mind, the script abandoned the darker tone of previous Batman films in favor of campy one-liners and merchandise-friendly set pieces. The dialogue seems designed primarily to set up toy sales rather than character development. Exhibit C: Visual Evidence. The visual crimes of Batman and Robin extend far beyond the infamous bat-nipples. The film embraced a neon-colored aesthetic that abandoned the gothic atmosphere of Tim Burton's vision, replacing it with a toy-like appearance clearly designed to appeal to children and sell merchandise. Particularly egregious was the transformation of Bane, a complex, intelligent villain in the comics, into a mindless, growling henchman in a wrestling costume who could only speak single words. The special effects, despite the $125 million budget, often appeared cartoonish and unconvincing. The defense makes its case. Intentional camp. The film deliberately embraced the campy style of the 1960s Adam West Batman TV series rather than the darker comic interpretations. Director Joel Schumacher has stated this was an intentional stylistic choice, not a failure of execution. Commercial success. Despite critical panning, the film grossed $238 million worldwide and was highly successful in merchandise sales. The toy line generated over $140 million in revenue, fulfilling Warner Bros.' primary business objective. Franchise evolution. Batman and Robin's failure directly led to the franchise being reimagined with Christopher Nolan's critically acclaimed Dark Knight trilogy. Without this spectacular failure, we might never have gotten Batman Begins. Family accessibility. The film successfully made Batman accessible to younger audiences, serving as an entry point for a new generation of fans who might have found darker versions too frightening. Expert witnesses testify. Critical reception. Roger Ebert gave the film 2.5 out of 4 stars, more generous than many critics. It's like a party with too many guests, all talking too loudly and dressed too outrageously, and no one is having a good time. The film holds a 12% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with the critical consensus describing it as a visual spectacle that's too loud, too long, and too busy. Director's testimony. Joel Schumacher has publicly apologized for the film. "I want to apologize to every fan that was disappointed because I think I owe them that." He later revealed studio pressure to make the film more toy-friendly. After Batman Forever, the studio wanted a more family-friendly Batman. "We were told to make it brighter, more fun, more toyetic." Fan reaction. The backlash was so severe that Warner Bros. Canceled the planned sequel, Batman Triumphant, and put the franchise on ice for nearly a decade. Over time, some fans have embraced the film's campiness as so bad it's good, hosting ironic viewing parties and celebrating its unintentional humor. Comparing to other superhero disasters, Batman and Robin still stands out for its particular combination of high-budget, A-list cast and spectacular misfire of tone and execution. While films like Catwoman and Fantastic Four 2015 have lower Rotten Tomatoes scores, Batman and Robin's place in a previously successful franchise makes its failure more noteworthy. The final verdict. Guilty with circumstances, a cinematic misfire that damaged the Batman brand. Sentencing, confined to the Hall of Infamy of bad superhero films. Mitigating factors, campy charm, nostalgia value, and historical significance. This court finds Batman and Robin guilty of excessive campiness, prioritizing merchandise over storytelling, and failing to honor the character's rich legacy. However, we acknowledge mitigating factors, including studio pressure, intentional stylistic choices, and its eventual role in pushing the franchise toward Christopher Nolan's acclaimed reboot. The film is sentenced to remain in the cinema prison of notorious flops, but with visitation rights for those who appreciate it ironically or as a nostalgic reminder of 90s excess. Furthermore, it shall serve as a cautionary tale for all future superhero filmmakers about the dangers of prioritizing toy sales over storytelling integrity.